And we want to just welcome everyone today to this ASCILITE live webinar session featuring one of our Innovation Award winners from last year. So joining us today, we've got Grace Key, Kevin Loke, and Nona Press from Massey University. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Grace to get us started.
Thank you, Dave. And yeah, Nona actually from QUT. So she's my mentor. She's my mentor for ASCILITE. ASCILITE. What was the full name of that? I forgot. But anyway, community practice. Cool. So today, so welcome everyone. So today we are going to discuss and demonstrate the examination of the design of and engagement of a mobile-based scavenger hunt educational game, which Kevin and I have developed this kind of since 2019. So outline of the webinar today. So first we're going to set the scene just to make sure that you understand the context and why we started this kind of project, and then briefly introduce you with the research design, and then we are put you into immersing to the demo game, which we specifically designed this for this webinar called Big Hunt webinar. And then we'll showcase our student experience in the other games that we developed since 2019, which is called Big Hunt at Library, which is based in Massey University in New Zealand. And then I'll explain some preliminary analysis and findings through this project, and also do some reflections, and then we'll wrap up by talking about some from where to from here. So the context, including two parts, learner profiles. So basically, this is to focus on the students who are distance learners at Massey University in New Zealand, and they are all enrolled in Chinese language program. So this is a teaching Chinese as second language in this case study. So the learners are mostly enrolled in this Chinese language program. Distance learners more than 60%. We do have some internal students, but most of them actually distance. They are some of them actually in New Zealand, and some others from around the world, but they are all Kiwis. Most of them are full-time employees or lifelong learners, I would say. And they are learning the language is for personal interests and needs, and some others probably for career development. Well, the challenge for teaching this distance learners, first is because they are the distance learners. So at Massey, we do have a lot of distance courses offered, but for our language program, usually, we do have some synchronous classes, but most of the times that we require students to do a lot of asynchronous learning. So there's some, as a consequence, that probably limited engagement, limited interaction, some limited contact hours with teachers and other peers. And for those full-time employees, there's a time jealousy. It's not just for the students who are fresh graduates from the secondary schools. And it's not much opportunities for students to use the language because the mainstream society is speaking English or Talamari. And then the student might have a limited understanding of knowledge of interculturality, which is a key component for this course. A part of the course, because of the distance learning, so we do have, Massey actually has a very good program to support students to get some physical contact with each other, just to know, to catch up with students and teachers, which is a language camp, which we call Chinese language camp. We run this every semester, so once in the semester, so twice in a year. So it's an opportunity for students to catch up with each other, catch up with learned content during the mid-semester break, and it's an immersive learning experience for students because we're assuming we expect a student to use the language as much as they can during that 1 or 2 days immersive day for the language camp. So we use this, that's why we start to develop some different multimodal materials and resources to help students during this language camp. And one of them is this game. So the question I have, not all of them are related to the research, but it's something to be mindful. First is how can mobile game-based learning environments be designed that support adult language learners engaging in tasks? In what ways do learners collaborate in the game, and what reactions the learners have to the for the mobile gameplay, and what do designers have to say, which is the key questions we want to answer by the end of this session today. Okay, so I would like to briefly touch based on the design process for this mobile game. Apologize for the color because it's kind of the snapshot from an article. So firstly, we actually, the design process looking at what and how and why as the main three processes. So the 4 steps underneath of that will be first identifying and analyze problems by researcher, which is me, and practitioner, me, and also also Kevin, who is actually TEL specialist in collaboration. So we had a numerous hours of discussion on how we can do something actually to accommodate the diversity of learners in this language program and address their issues and their challenges that might help us to understand how we're going to design a task or design a game that can accommodate their needs. Second is to develop the prototype solutions. So for this one, we were looking at different immersion technologies, and also we would like to have some innovations if we can. So it's drawn upon the design-based methodology, design-based research methodology, to look at how we can develop the solutions that can accommodate the needs of learners. And then we move on to the iterative cycles to test and refine the solutions, which is in this case, the game that we developed in practice. So we did 2 different times. One is in 2019, which is the first time the game was developed. And the second time we redesign and re-implement the game in 2021 because the COVID disruption, so we couldn't do that in 2020. And then we always have, reflections between me and Kevin and also myself, and we will revisit the design principles and enhance the solutions. So during the first after the first implementation, and we did a lot of work during the year, and then to re-implement the redesign and re-implement some of the mini tasks within the game in 2021. So the research design, as I mentioned, it was a mobile game that is specific looking at student engagement, strategies used for collaborative learning, drawn upon the design-based research lens. So the context, repeatedly, Chinese language camp, So we did on-campus interaction with the students in 2019, and then we did a hybrid form in 2021. So that, as a result, we have we keep the big hunt at library, and in 2021 we designed a new one for students who cannot come to the campus, which we called it a big hunt at home. So this is participants are actually from not just first or second year or specific third year student. It's coming from all levels of proficiency. Students in different proficiency levels across the 3 years of program. Okay, so in today's talk, we're going to talk about specifically the data, reported the data actually coming from student written reflection and team presentation in a target language, and some survey feedback we've received from students. Some other data are still in the process of analyzing, so I'm not going to focus on them today. Okay, so now it's time for a game. So I hope that everyone have be able to download this GooseChase app. So you will have the same experience with the students. We had a student that played this game today with us. So please first scan the QR code or use the chat, which they already shared the URLs on the chat for you to download the game platform, which is called GooseChase. And once you are in there, you play as a guest. So you don't need to register a new account. Okay, so am I assuming everyone got this down? Okay, I'm just moving on. It might just take you 1 minute to download everything. Okay, so step 2, then we will randomly allocate you to different teams in the breakout room. So I think I'll just wait for another minute or so to make sure that you have downloaded successfully. Yes, the game code. Kevin, what's the game code for this now? Or are we just moving to the breakout room and then do it?
The game code will be shown in the breakout room.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, so I think now we're just getting to the breakout room, and we're gonna have team A or B, probably not team C. So you're with us shortly.
We're back to the main room now.
Okay. Cool. Is everyone back? I think everyone's back.
Everyone's back.
Great. All right, so let's continue. So another task is to ask you to scan this QR code now. Oh, jumped. QR code now to do a little bit reflections on the Padlet. So you can still use your mobile phone or tablet that you've been using, or you can use the I think
I've put a link in the chat.
the link, yeah. So Dave already put the link on the chat, so you can also access that through your browser. I'm gonna see the Padlet. Dave, am I able to share the screen just to see the Padlet?
Yep, so use the middle icon under the purple tab,
Yeah.
and there's a share application or screen.
Cool.
Yep.
Can you see it? All right.
Yep, there it's
Cool.
here.
I'm just showing everyone. You can do your comments on that, and yeah, some people already done that. Will be 5 questions there. It's great to read your reflections on that and feedback. Great. Just 1 more minute and until we come back to the next section to show you how student did. Okay, I think we can stop sharing and just going back to the application, the slides. Cool, thank you. All right, cool. You can still commenting on that while listening to our talk. So next section, I'm just hand over to Kevin to tell us the story that our student experienced during the gameplay.
Okay, thank you, Grace. Okay, now let's have a look at the game that we created for the language camp that took place in September 2019. The game context was set in the library of the Massey University Auckland campus, where the participants were divided into teams and each had to complete several missions with the shortest time consumed to win the game. Complete missions. So once a team was created by the team leader, they will be given a list of missions ready for them to complete. So what is a mission? A mission is a challenge or task that participants need to complete to earn points. As an administrator, you can schedule each mission to be released automatically to the participants at a certain time and have the mission expired after a certain period. There are 3 types of mission that we can create. Number 1, the GPS missions. Participants need to physically get to the specific location, communicated through the mission description or based on a given clue in order to submit their coordinates. Number 2, text missions. Participants need to enter a text or a number-based answer to a question you have asked. Number 3, photo video missions. Participants need to find a specific object or place or even to perform a physical or creative task and take a photo or video of it. In the next few slides, I have selected 3 missions from our game to share with you. Let's have a look. So in this GPS mission, the participants had to get to the library entrance and submit their coordinates. This is a good exercise for the mind and body. You can include clues that can get your participants moving and running from places to places, from a place to a place. You can even get creative and have them run to the top of a hill or wander into the woods. Although ours was an indoor scavenger hunt, we had made good use of it to get the participants to run from the seminar room to the library where the scavenger hunt took place. Since it was a group activity, social skills were involved, such as keeping everyone in the group, following the group plan, and using their thinking eyes to accomplish the mission together. In these test missions, the participants had to converse with a Chinese student in Chinese language and note down what they were talking about. This mission enables them to make use of the Chinese language for culturally appropriate communication. It further stimulated the motivation of learners in pursuing the understanding of Chinese culture that was embedded in the language acquisition. In the third mission, the participant had to find a Chinese dictionary in the library, note down its location, and took a photo or a video of it. We had several photo video missions that require the team to work together to search for them or to describe something as a team in a video. Photo video missions enable participants to develop and strengthen their teamwork and social capability while completing the missions. So once a mission has been completed, it will be reviewed by the organizer under the admin dashboard. Bonus points will be awarded if the submission is impressive, or points can also be taken away if the submission is not up to your expectation. Down here, submission can be downloaded as a zip file, which includes all the photos, videos, and text in a spreadsheet, so that participants can keep a copy for themselves or to be used for learning and analytics purpose. Next. Okay, so how about tracking the opponent? How does participants track their opponents? So within the GooseChase mobile app, there is an activity feed right here and a leaderboard next to here, where participants can see the current rankings and also like the submission from other teams. All the submissions are automatically approved and posted to the activity feed when they are submitted. They can either be shown or hidden from other participants. The leaderboard shows how many points each team has earned so far, with the team in the lead listed at the top. And under the admin dashboard right here, the organizer can have an overview of the game with the details stacked in graphical forms. So GooseChase allows us to create a new form of scavenger hunt to engage participants in a socially interactive game with real-time features that are not possible to realize with traditional pen and paper scavenger hunts. So after the mission has accomplished, the fun was not over yet. The teams return to the seminar room and share their experience and reflections in a group speech. Engaging with peers and the use of multimedia-based mobile app, they were able to recap the knowledge, culture, and language introduced in the first half of the seminar and apply them in multiple scenarios during the game, such as communicating with the native Chinese speakers in the library, navigating locations where they could find specific information, negotiating individual roles in each task, and developing transferable capability of effective teamwork, rapport building, critical thinking, and problem solving. In the next few slides, Grace will be sharing the feedbacks from the 2019 and 2021 cohorts. Okay, over to you, Grace.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. So it looks like it's a really fun game for students indeed. So as the students said in their survey or reflections, the 2019 cohort was very interactive. They say the game was very interactive, very fun. It's very competitive, to be honest, because I think you guys all experienced as well that the shortest time used is a winning team, right? So we had 3 teams in 2019 group. And then they were really happy that they had experience to speak to someone in Chinese. But some other students said it was quite dodgy. Yeah, it's quite dodgy and it's daunting because it got them out of that comfort zone. Because one of the tasks is to ask the student to talk to find some random person in the library and check first that the person can speak Chinese, and then interact with the person in that language. And also, it's a real-life contextual use for the Chinese language skills because it involved problem solving, and the strategies that students developed during the gameplay is crucial. And also they got to explore the campus because for distance students, they don't come to campus very often, and this is probably the only and unique opportunity for them to explore the campus and all the facilities offered there. And so some more from the 2021 cohort. This cohort was just undertake this game on in this passing semester in May, I think. Oh, in April actually. That's during the semester break. So they were saying it's very rewarding, and they can see how fast and how much Chinese they could say. It's a very they can see their improvement during the gameplay. And it's a good team building exercise because many of them they don't know each other. Some of them are peers within their level of the Chinese proficiency class, but some others they're actually from different levels. So they are a group of messy students, but they don't really know each other. So they can also practice more dynamically. They also quite enjoyed the interview, and they did that as a team, so they feel it's a much relief. And also they also appreciate that the opportunity is given to them to listen to some more advanced students to talk about their experience in the target language, which is the Chinese, in the presentation after the gameplay. And it's valuable to mix the 3 groups of levels of students and then to work together. I just want to give you one example from the Girl Power team, which is in 2021. This group of students actually specifically mentioned that strategies developed they used during the gameplay. They took turns to answer questions, they opted duties, and they tried to speak. Each of them speak sentence and ask questions in Chinese. And they also said they went to the library and they worked as a team. They took the one question at a time and narrowed down, for example, where the books were for speaking tasks, and we did it together. And some other things they said are they found the Chinese speakers and they couldn't find the Chinese magazines, so they reported back to the class after the gameplay. Something here, which is during the reflection and also the presentation as a group presentation, there's a level 3 student presented on behalf of the team, and of course, she was mentioning in Chinese language, because that's required for this presentation. Basically, she was demonstrate the photo, which is on the right, is a concept map for the students to describe how they went to the went to the library and how they did all different things. They were saying that the student actually is talking about, this is the adventure. So we actually planned, we discussed, and we did everything together. So she also used English to explain that, and she said the library is very quiet. And then when as the audience, he's in level 2, he was asking the together again, because the presenter actually used together this word in Chinese several times, but he couldn't identify. And then presenter just, sort of teach the student how was it said in Chinese. So this is a kind of example to show you how students work together even after the gameplay, and then they teach each other, and as a student, like teacher aid in the class to help each other learn the language. This is another example that from the Girl Power team, they were continuing describing their procedures or strategies used in playing the game. So they were saying first, the adventure, then they did everything together, and they said the most important thing is to have the ability to speak Chinese in this experience. So just a little reflections and to look at the based research and collaboration. So for me as a reflective teacher, designer, and researcher, I was looking at how I could identify the issues that students faced or experienced, and noticed the challenges in the diversity of distance learners. But how and why, it's through the collaboration with Kevin in this case. So, so Kevin, do you want to continue with this?
Okay, so GooseChase is chosen as the digital scavenger hunt platform because it's easy for us to create a game. I can add Grace to co-manage the game along with me, just not so it's kind of so we can do it collaborative online together. It is also easy for the participants to get started without the need to create an account. They can play as guest and get things started within a minute. The mission that we created can be saved to our personal mission bank for reuse in other games as well. And there are plenty of examples in the game library that we can copy over to our account. Not only that, we can also use GooseChase to conduct a virtual and remote scavenger hunt, which we have done so in 2021, without the need of arranging a physical venue. That means you can reach audience who are beyond your physical location and anywhere in the world. So it sounds really good, but how about its pricing? Okay, don't worry. There is a free education version of GooseChase that allows up to 5 teams with 1 active game at a time. So this option should be sufficient for many teachers. And if you need up to 10 teams with more than 1 active game, you can always upgrade your plan, which is $49 per year. And anytime you can also downgrade your plan, and your games will still remain in your account, and you still can play it. Just that you can only play 1 active game at a time. So let's talk about the drawback. The devices participants are using need to maintain an internet connection. So this is a hindrance for classrooms that use iPads that connect to the internet only through Wi-Fi, as they can't take those devices on a field trip and expect to be connected. So an internet connection is a necessity for live updates as the scavenger hunt progresses. The bottom line is learners and teachers will enjoy this powerful learning of a modern and location-independent scavenger hunt. Yep, that's my that's my feedback and reflections on using it. Thank you. Over to you, Grace.
So I think for me, thank you, Kevin. So for me, the importance is the continued collaboration with Kevin and some other colleagues varying from different discipline areas across the institution and beyond. And also the multifaceted situations took into account for this design, implementation, and redesign and re-implementation in this game design process. So I'm just hand over to Nona to wrap up this session today. Nona, are you here?
Yes, I.
Cool.
Okay, so my mic is unstable. It's okay now. As I was saying that you didn't hear, it was very exciting for me to watch Grace as my mentee, to really evolve her project and her interest and her commitment to make a difference in language learning. And there are many successes she has experienced, but also she wasn't scared to face the challenges. And there are multifaceted applications in other disciplines that this particular grade promises. So the issue here at this stage is how can we bundle the problem pursued here and the kinds of interventions applied. Now, in my role at QUT, I have the ability to identify specific disciplines that will benefit from this type of interventions, and I'm really excited about it. So we can look at how we bundle that problem, pick it up, and take it to another discipline that will surely benefit such application. So therefore, with partnership together as a team, we intend to translate these experiences into a number of articles to disseminate our experiences and findings and how we move it forward again. This will enable collaborations with stakeholders across disciplines, and again with Kevin. Kevin is an integral part of the process, and we probably have to look at Kevin equivalent for other universities. So we will be continuing this research, and I will be so honored to watch Grace again lead these processes to expand her horizons in terms of her teaching commitment and how she can continually evolve that, but specifically also the research that underpin her teaching through these types of interventions. And she is able to look at new ecologies of learning and teaching, primarily in her own context, but this will expand as I can see. And that partnership is so critical. And we do that through the DBR or design-based research methodology. And so we are excited, as I said, and we're happy to discuss any interest from you all. Thank you. Over to you,
Thank
Grace.
you, Nona. So the final slide is, this is reference, and the final slide is just to show you that our contact details, and thank you for your attention. And I think now it's question time.
Yeah, so we have time for just a couple of questions, and there have been a couple that have come up in the chat. Lisa asks, how did the off-campus students complete the conversation practice?
So I go first. For the 2021 cohort, we do have students join us online. So they join on Zoom with us, and we set the scene in the VLT room. So we pair the students online with the students on campus. And then they did some other games, which is not scavenger hunt at library because of limitation of mobility. But we did the scavenger hunt at home. So the student can take photos and do different tasks related to where they based at, basically. Yeah.
All right, thanks for that. And AW asks, sorry. Are there any limitations with the group numbers or the participant numbers for the app? For example, if there's a course with 400 students, will that be possible to handle?
Okay, I'll
Kevin?
take that
Yeah.
question. Yep. So yes, so if you are looking at 400 students, you might have to go for the school and district pricing. You need to contact GooseChase for that pricing. So for our plan, for our current one, is up to 10 teams, up to 5 devices for each team, and that is $49 per year. The reason for keeping 5 devices to one team is to make the group small, so that they can be more, everyone can join in, and it's easier for everyone to take turns to do the mission. So if you want higher than that, that will be the educator premium plan, which allows up to 40 teams. Each team will be 5 devices, or up to 200 individual participants. Anything more than that, you will have to contact GooseChase, and that will be under the school district pricing. Yeah, thank you.
Can I also can I also talk about that? There are probably other ways that you can solve the problem instead of paying the price. So if it's limited numbers of devices used per team, then that could provide another opportunity for students to collaborate together as a team. So even it's like more than 20 students in one team, they could all join in a room and using other facilities to help them still do the collective work, but based on only 2 devices or very limited numbers of devices. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. Good idea, Grace.
All right. And we want to thank Grace, Kevin, and Nona for their presentation today. I've seen lots of positive comments in the chat. And we want to thank everybody for taking the time out to participate today. Now, as I mentioned before, these individuals were Innovation Award winners at last year's ASCILITE conference. And as you know, this year's ASCILITE conference is coming up at the end of November. Join us on Wednesday, 17th of June from 1 to 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And the call for presentations and papers is now open for the upcoming ASCILITE conference. So that webinar will guide you through how to put together your conference submission. Also, on the 30th of June, we have our showcase in partnership with EduGrowth. So we would encourage you to join that, and you can see what other EdTech companies across Australia, EdTech startups, and what's happening in that space. So we thank you again for joining us for today's ASCILITE Live webinar, and have a great week.